Trying to take my people advice. I hope I'm doing this right. He said, do the frame like 16.9 or something like that, and you know what I'm talking about. You in the comment section, man. I forgot your name. You hear me? But trying to take your advice and do it like that. You hear me? But I want to come to y'all and I want to talk to y'all about this time, because it's important to little girls and shit. And, you know, because I got little girls, so it made me think about this, and I look back on it, and I wish that that night didn't kind of didn't happen. But you know, you can't erase what happened. You did. You only go forward and try to, you know, do better in life. You hear me? But you know, I know for sure I'll never do nothing like that again in my life. You know what I'm saying? Even though it wasn't what it wasn't what I physically did. It was really what I didn't do. You hear me? And so anyway, this incident took place out there in Texas. You hear me? And it kind of go along with that story I was telling y'all when my brother had you know, robbing the dudes, and he had went to jail, ended up shooting at the dudes and all that, and he went to jail. Was out there in Texas, right? I think I told y'all about that story with KP and all that. You hear about the robbery, but it's a situation that happened before that. You hear me? Like the days leading up to that, right? So when we go out there, it was already planned, like the female we were supposed to be with, right? And so I was supposed to be messing with they had a chick set up for me, you hear me, that I was gonna go out there and fuck with. And my brother, he was supposed to fuck with KP's sister, you hear me? And she was kinda acting funny. Now he had two sisters, right? But she was kinda acting funny. So the one he was supposed to fuck with, he didn't want to fuck with her. He wanted to fuck with the other sister. So he had blew his chances of fucking with that sister, right? So anyway, I ended up fucking with the sister he was supposed to fuck with, right? But that wasn't who I was lined up to be with. You hear me? On my days out there, it was with this other chick who was a friend of the family. You hear me? The chick who had the trailer where the police had popped up and, you know, was looking for him in Harris County or whatever, you hear me? But anyway, we go out there and we at the house or whatever, so she come on over, you hear me? And so, you know, we in the room and we getting it on, you hear me? You did, yeah. Grown folks know what I'm talking about. We fucking, you hear me, in that bitch. And my brother, he in the next room, he dried dick like a motherfucker. Like I said, KP's sister wasn't, you know, she wasn't with it. So she wasn't letting them fuck. So I'm in the room with the other girl and we fucking or whatever like that. So, man, I'm fucking. And you know how y'all had, you know how you get that intuition feeling like somebody right there or whatever. Like, I look back and my brother, this nigga black like a motherfucker, you hear me? And so, and it's dope. And so when I look back, it's like all I see is some eyes. This nigga eyes big. Like this nigga eyes big. So I'm looking, I'm like, man, what the fuck? And this nigga got a couple over his head, son. He standing in the door like, man, let me get me. Let me get me. You hear me? And so, like I said, you know, back then, immature mind, you hear me? I'm not thinking about this girl, you know what I'm saying, how she feel about this, you dig, you know what I'm saying? So I like hold up, and I'm like, I gotta go use the bathroom or whatever. So I leave out the room, you hear me? And he go in there, like I said, it's dope. So he get on top of whatever like that, and I'm in the bathroom, and I'm just like, man, what the fuck, you hear me? And so that's when I hit a girl, you know, she like, oh no, stop it. You're not your brother. No, I like your brother. I don't want to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? He trying to coerce her like, man, you know, chill. Like, come on, man, just chill. Let me, you hear me? She like, no, I don't want to do this. I want your brother or whatever like that, you hear me? And so I'm standing in the bathroom and I'm listening to this shit, you hear me? And I'm like, man, you know, trying to keep it, you know what I'm saying? You know how nigga be with that pressure on him. Like, what do I do? Do I go in there, man, get up off her or whatever like that? Cause it's like, this is my brother, you hear me? And it's like something had came over me like, you know what, this ain't right. So I go in there and that's what I do. I'm like, man, chill, man, get up, you know, get off her. You know, I almost played like I didn't even know he was gonna do this, you hear me? And when I go back in there or whatever, we lay down, I get him out the room and I lay down with her, whatever like that. Like, she didn't really look like it fazed her too much, you know. We go back to doing what we was doing or whatever like that. But the next day, you could tell like by her attitude and stuff that really did bother her. You know what I'm saying? That I let this nigga come in there and, you know, put his dick in her. You feel me? It was almost like a unseen thing, like I was supposed to protect her on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm laying down with you, so you ain't supposed to let nobody come and violate me. And like I said, I didn't really look at it like I was, you know, violent, because that's what we did. We flipped hoes and shit like that. But it was consensual, like flipping, you hear me? I never did it like on some forceful shit or whatever. When we were flipping hoes, we never did it like, bitch, you gon' fuck him. Nothing. We done, you know, it was like they were cool with it. But in that particular time, it was like she wasn't cool with it. And that's what made me feel like, man, it's wrong, you hear me? And like I said, me having daughters now, son, I look back at that shit now, it just really fucks with me that I let that shit happen. Like, that shit should never happen, you hear me? And I remember, later we'll talk about that shit and we'll laugh about that shit. He'd be like, man, you remember your girl, son? I'm not like your brother. And all I'd be like, man. And I used to laugh at it, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, that shit wasn't funny. Especially when I had daughters. Like, it's really not funny at all now, because I couldn't imagine my daughters going through no shit like that, you feel me? And so for sure, if Shawty ever see this dog, sincerely in my heart, I'm for real, very sorry, you hear me? Very sorry, son. And it's like, it's not even enough for me to try to blame that on the immature mind. Like I said, I'm very sorry, you hear me? And I know I can't take that back, but I'm very sorry about that, you hear me? Because that's something that girl had to live with in her life forever, that happened that night, you dig? And no matter how somebody probably says it ain't that big of a deal, you don't know that, because that was her have to deal with that. I don't know how she dealt with that in her life, you hear me? To know that, you know what I'm saying, a nigga violated her, son. And that girl really was like, you know, I don't want this, and please stop, and you know, I want your brother and shit. And I really, even though it wasn't like 5 minutes long, it was just a couple of, probably about 30 seconds to a minute. That's still, 1 second is enough, you hear me? I wasn't supposed to let that happen, brother or not, you hear me? The shit was wrong, you know what I'm saying? But, so I say that shit to say, like I say, for all them young girls out there, son, man, be careful who y'all dealing with, you hear me? You probably really have a nigga that really fuck with you and shit, but he don't know how to deal with the pressure. Cause like, if I was any other type of nigga, I probably would have just, like, man, fuck that hoe. And now that's a rape, you feel me? That's a rape. That shit could have turned into something very different, you know? Like I said, looking back on it, it could have turned into something very different if I would have been another type of nigga and would have been like, you know, hearing us screaming all that shit and go back in there, man, let them fuck, you hear me, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That would have been super down bad, you did. But, so y'all girls, dog, y'all be careful who y'all deal with, son. Cause, like I said, it won't be the nigga that's looking all fucked up. It'll be the nigga that look good, be the nigga that's handsome, be the nigga that's charismatic, will be the one that put you through your most traumatizing experience, you hear me? The devil never looks evil, he look good, you hear me, for real. And not proud to say that, but I used to be on some shit, bro, like fucked up with it, man, you hear me? So I be glad that I really gave my life a turnaround, you hear me? Like, for real, I be happy that I turned my life around for a lot of stuff that I used to do and that I did in my life. But that situation right there was one that I wish I really could take back. Cause like I said, I couldn't imagine my daughters going through nothing like that. Somebody forcing themselves on them, you know what I'm saying? For real. But anyway, man, I ended up fucking with that boy KP, other sister though, you heard me? And that shit, that was crazy. Cause like I said, the shit had changed. After that night, you could see girl was kinda, you know, she was playing it cool, but she was kinda uncomfortable. And like I said, I ended up fucking with KP, other sister. And that nigga there, he ended up not getting nobody, you hear me? You wanna call that calm or what, you dig? But he ended up fucking nothing out there, you hear me? I ended up fucking two, you dig? But, you know, like I said, man, sincerely sorry for that shorty. I don't even know girl names, son. That's fucked up. But man, again, sincerely sorry. I'm out though, y'all. You hear me?